Hi there, thanks for joining me today. I have a flip through of a journal that actually I started last year. And so it's only taken me 11 months to finish it. But it was well worth it. I can't say I was working on it for 11 months. I put it away and brought it back out again, and it is done, and I'm so happy with it. And so I thought I'd bring you along today for a flip through. It's a very big journal, big size wise and paper wise pages. So let's do the measurements. First off, it's about, if you take in the curve of the spine, you'd get 6.5, but I'd say it's 6 3/8. Hard to say. 9 3/4, and then I know the spine. The spine is big. This is a 3-inch spine. When you go, you have to go around. There's a ever so gentle curve there for the spine. So this is a big journal. It has 13 signatures in it. I don't know if you can see them all there with all the stuff, but there are 13 signatures in it. 350 pages if you count both sides, like 1, turn it 2, 3, 4. That's how I count them. So just so you know, that's the way I do it. And I sort of count an envelope that's in the center of a signature as kind of like one page, sort of. I didn't know how else to include them in the count. It's a, like I said, big book, but when it has this mysterious title, The List, I can't think of many books that would be this big. There are a few that should be this big. And in this case, this one is Santa's List with all the names in it. So, and I preferred the list over Naughty and Nice, and that. Thought about it for a long time, and I just thought the list, first of all, sounded a little mysterious, and second of all, it sounded a little more inclusive. It's just the way I feel about Santa and the gifts he brings for children at Christmas. So, a little bit of background history on the book. It was published in 1878. It's a very old book. It was in not bad condition, not fantastic condition, but obviously bad enough that it was on the discard shelf at my thrift store. And I knew that it had potential to be a really cool journal. And it did turn out really cool. And so it was actually the complete works of John Bunyan. So it was a religious book. And he had a very, very interesting life. And you can look him up if you want to learn more about John Bunyan. But one of his most famous works that he wrote was The Pilgrim's Progress. Anyhow, I just, as soon as I saw this beautiful green, this beautiful embossing on the cover, I just immediately knew this had to be a Christmas journal, and I knew that it needed to look very regal and very well worn and very used. So hence the well-worn Father Time took care of that for me. But I did enhance some of the green a little bit because it did have some water damage to it. And I did go in with some very light gold, enhancing into along the edges and in the folds and all that, and along the sides and that, and the bottom. so that it's embossed on front and back, so that it looks like it at one time was a glorious book, is still a glorious book, but a very well used and well loved book. And it did have an original title here, which I loved, all this gold that was on it, and I knew I wanted to be able to save most of it if I could. And the best way to do that was to create this plate with the new title for the book. And then, of course, I put one on the spine because at 3 inches it was big enough to handle it, and a picture of the owner. And then on the back, another one on the back, and with some children hanging up their stockings. So you'll find that there's quite a variety of ages in this book, from very old kind of pictures of old type ephemera to vintage to modern, because of course Father Christmas is timeless. So I tried to include quite a bit, and it really does focus on him and children. So it's a happy book, and it's really meant for writing in. So you'll see that when we get into it. So the spine I reinforced from the inside out just to make sure it's ready for another 140 or so years, 150 years. I put an actual jingle bell from horse harness on it. That's the ring for it. Now, whether that's the alarm bell in case, or if Santa loses it, or if he keeps an extra in case one of the reindeer lose their bells, who knows how this came to be and what its purpose is. Only the old man knows. This sort of is my new way of just putting a little, that it's a Sunnyside journal. The little old-fashioned sun there. And then there's lace, torn up lace at the top and at the bottom, and a permanent bookmark there. So you'll see here there's a lock and key on the cover, just so that snoopy people can't, if they happen to find it, they can't look and see, am I in it? Am I not? Sari silk doubled up to tie it shut. You never know, the new owner may very well fill this with all kinds of things, whether it's recipes, family stories, hard to say. I've tried my best to simply fill it with blank pages and fussy cuts that I have collected from books and wrapping paper, and I've even rated my precious Tim Holtz things. There's a whole variety of various places that I have got the ephemera for the fussy cutting from. I try my best, as ever, to make my journals, my junk journals, truly junk, and get the papers from thrift stores, the books from thrift stores, the majority of the ephemera from either thrift stores or secondhand sources, so that it's really it's environmentally friendly art, is the way I look at it. So let's take a look inside. On the inside of the book here, I put new end papers, front and back. I thought the front needs to be glorious. So this beautiful, I don't know whether it's a little girl or whether it's a doll. This is just, it's both items were fussy cut from a book that I found on the history of Christmas. And it's also a tuck spot. Now, I didn't put anything special in there, but I did put a doily back there so that you know it's a tuck spot. And maybe you have something special you'd like to put in there. The word Christmas is also a tuck spot, so you'll see it could be a tall piece of paper you put in there. It's quite versatile. And a little bit of lace up here. Over here, I have a map that I found in one of my atlases. It's actually a vintage atlas because it's the same publication that I used when I was in school, the atlas that I got this out of. But we made it look much, much older and much more loved and used, and it's the World Air Routes, so that Santa, if he needs a little help getting to where he's going, he can pull out his map, and then over on this side has the local clock times. And I like to imagine that maybe the elves had a little hand in making sure there's lots of pictures of the old man in there. And here's this belly band here is where I started busting out my Tim Holtz and not hoarding it so much to make use of it. It's not doing any good, just me getting it out every year and then putting it away every January. So you'll see this this bolt here. It's holding the lock and key on the front cover. This actually was a drawer pull. So again, I find them at thrift stores. I find them at antique shops. And I love looking through bins of old metal drawer pulls. They make really great accents for front covers. So on the inside here, this is actually from the same book that these came out of, and I just thought that was kind of fun to have at the beginning of the book, a table of contents. Even though it's blank, the contents will be whatever you want it to be, but it's also a pocket, so I can't leave things empty. There's a index card with a little whale-tail tab on it there, just for the time being. You can put whatever you like in there. This is a little vintage tag that would go on a gift, and I liked it, thought it was cute. Again, a little picture from a book on Christmas. You can get lots of those, I find at thrift stores, those little books that are fun to give just as a little gift to someone, like a hostess gift. And they have just beautiful copyright-free Victorian artwork. And that's where I got that. And this is 2 postcards that I glued together because the original one, I liked the back of it, but not the front. And this one, I liked the front of it. So I glued them together and made a postcard that I like. There are lots of tabs for no reasons everywhere, simply to make this beautiful waterfall effect of lots of beautiful things to look at. And lots of little charms on it. This one has a pearl, but I thought it kind of looked like a snowball. And a bit of lace and a little Tim Holtz here. And then on this side, there's a Father Christmas, he looks somewhat like a Belsnickel type Santa. This is from a vintage Christmas card book that we used to keep before we had smartphones. And some fussy cut from some old wrapping paper that was my daughter's. And there's all kinds of paper in here. There's tea-dyed paper, there's ledger paper, there's grass paper, there's just simply lined paper. You're going to see all kinds. This is an envelope that got sewn right into the center of the journal. And on the front, I've got a Father Christmas with children who are happy to see him and his bag full of toys. And I put a little cheesecloth in behind. Inside, I've put a Christmas card. It's blank, so you could still use it if you want. I thought she was kind of cute. And I lined it with some Christmas paper through the window there. So So she's sort of peeking out there. And then on this side, there's just a little, like I said, making use of everything I had. There was some modern looking print because I tea-dyed this and I wanted to cover it up, but that's not the normal place you'd put a stamp. So I simply put this sticker up here, and I thought that was cute. And then here's, again, making use of my Tim Holtz. It says, "A visit from Santa Claus." And a little bit of fabric that looks exactly like the paper that I've used to line the front and the back cover. And lots of sewing in this journal. Lots and lots of sewing. More cards, more tabs sticking out the side, random. There's no rhyme or reason for where they are or why. More fussy cut wrapping paper here. This is Tim Holtz. I believe the tickets are Tim Holtz, but I've got tickets from various sources now, and I've lost track. This is not washi tape. This is paper that I stamped on and used to strengthen or glue together this folio. But it was a year ago and I can't remember why. But I do remember making it. And on this side is, again, that beautiful, really rich looking gold paper. I fussy cut this out from that wrapping paper and didn't know where to put it, so I've simply put it in this this rusted paper clip that has a little bow on it with some Christmas fabric, and you can put that wherever you like. On this page, there's a bit of sewing and a fabric tab. And then I found these wine glass charms, and that has a reindeer on it. So I thought that was perfect. And wherever I've used a metal embellishment there in the book, it's usually gold because there was so much gold already in the embossed titles on the front, the spine, and on the back. Some bullet journal paper, a vintage 60s, that looks 60s-ish, I was around then to me, Christmas card, child's composition book from school. This is another fussy cut from the wrapping paper, and it's a tip out. So again, you're just seeing oodles of space for you to do what you want with this book. A little fella with his doggy and a lantern, and he's singing carols. And I had a bit of fun with blue in this book, which is a color I don't often use, but I enjoyed it. This is actually a Christmas card that one of my kids gave us last year. We don't get that many Christmas cards anymore, but I'm not usually one to save them. I would prefer to use them again. So this one got used in this journal. And I can't leave a pocket empty, so it's just got some inked and tissue dye and wrinkled tissue in there. So you do what you want with that, where you want. Another little sticker of an old typewriter that looks like the Underwood I learned on, and somebody has typed "Merry Christmas to you" on it. This one, you can hardly see it, but it's a little embosser I have of a snowflake. So it's just quietly there in the corner. This pocket is from a reprint of a vintage postcard. It's not an actual old postcard. I found a book of reprints. But I did do some stamping in behind to make it almost look like a garden box, or I don't know. I just loved the way that looked. And then these are vintage little probably a thank you or anything you want. It's blank, and it gives you tons and tons of journaling space. So I put that in there for now. You can put it wherever you like. And a little bit of stenciling on that side. This is actually a tuck spot as well. Here, hold on, I'll show you. I didn't fill all the tuck spots this time. As difficult as that was for me to do, you know I like filling tuck spots. And here's another map, just in case Santa needs another map. This green ribbon here was the original permanent bookmark that was in the original text block. So I felt like it needed to go back in with the book. Even though I didn't use a lot of the original text block, the paper really wasn't very usable. You'll see that if you happen to be the person who decides this is a journal for you, I will be sending along some of the papers. A few that if you want to make tags or journals, you can, but you'll see here it cracks very easily. But it gives you the original front page. So if you want to put that somewhere important, because it actually has the date of publication, so that you can show people how old this actual book really is. And again, some fussy cutting from that really pretty wrapping paper that I just can't get enough of this year. So that will be going along with the book. And there's some faux cellophane tape that I created. And then on the back, I glued down some paper so that you can journal on it. And here's a little peekaboo window, and there's Santa in there if you open it up on that tip out. So that's cute. I got that idea from Anna at Made by Grenath. Here is the permanent bookmark, and you can move that wherever you need it to be while you're working in it. I thought a book this big needed a thicker permanent bookmark rather than a thin ribbon. So it needed a significant ribbon so that Santa could find the spot where he was at and not lose track. And I did lots of sewing of pieces of Christmassy fabric, and again a little bit more of the fussy cutting of the wrapping paper. Another little fabric tab here with Christmas fabric, and then this charm on the tab has a little snowflake on it and some sewing down the edge. This is from a German hymnal, and I'm not sure I ever knew how old it was. We'll see on the other side. I may have written it down, or I may not have been able to read how old it was from the book. There's a little more fussy cutting and a little bit of lace there on that blue page. Like I said, I had fun with blue ink for once. A little piece of paper I have of different patterns for German bisque dolls. Tea-dyed the blue paper, a little stamping of the main guy, and again, so I don't have a date for that. All I can say is it's old. I've got the book and it's old. This is a tuck spot here, but this is a reprint, a book I have of a reprint, and some Christmas fabric, but I actually liked the end of it where it says 100% cotton, and it has the test swatches for the shades there. So I sewed that on there and put in a little tuck spot, but there's still room to journal. And then there's a little blank recipe card for you that you can fill in with a recipe if you want. And like I said, lots of sewing in this book. I left the threads long as usual, and you can trim them if you like. They've already been tied off, so if you don't like them long, trim them off. Another little snowflake there. and some more fussy cut wrapping paper, and some more stenciling with blue ink on there. I thought they kind of looked like snowflakes. This is from a vintage little Christmas Carol book that I got in Happy Mail, and I just thought that was pretty. And there's some of my more homemade not washi tape. It was paper that I just glued in to reinforce that it was falling apart. I know it's old. I don't know what year it is, but it's definitely vintage. It's not antique, but definitely vintage. Another little tuck spot. I found a book that was completely dedicated to toys that had to do with Santa, antique toys that had to do with Santa. So I just fussy cut that whole book as much as I could and added a little bit of lace around it. And I put some pockets I couldn't leave alone. Here's a little snowflake fellow, and some more, a ruffle made with some Christmas fabric, and I hand sewed that ruffle, but then I glued it on. This is, I believe, from Tim Holtz or else Your Creative Studio. It's an order from a chocolate company, and I thought Santa needs chocolates. More fussy cutting from the wrapping paper, more stamping, some tea-dyed steno paper, some more fussy cutting from the wrapping paper, a little fabric star with a button on it that I learned how to make from Nancy at Wishes and Weeds. Some more fussy cutting from the reprint of vintage wrapping paper. You can see there was a lot of self-control here, that I had fun in this book, but I didn't overdo it so that the new owner can. Some paper dolls, the winter paper dolls from Tim Holtz here, little boy and little girl, brother and sister probably. I thought that looked cute. And again, some, I don't know, I'm hoping it's candies, but for all we know, it's from a drugstore. I don't know. Another map, in case Santa's now flying over Europe and he needs to make sure of where he is. So I just had fun with maps in this book. I thought, Santa, you know, if he's like my husband with reading glasses, he might be that way with maps. So there's quite a few maps. It's quite a few different maps in this journal. There's another Santa, another version of him. I love the old-fashioned Father Christmas type Santas, or the Belsnickels. And a little angel down here with some lace on that odd little piece of paper. I couldn't just leave it alone. And some stamping up here. Another little tuck spot from that book on games, antique games that had to do with Christmas and Santa. And this is another rusted paper clip that I've made a little bow on with Christmassy type fabric, and I just put it up here. You can fill it with whatever you like. This is actually an antique postcard. It just hasn't been used, and it's in a little tuck spot here from the same book where the little doll from the front cover came from. I think it's The History of Christmas or something like that. Really good pictures in that book for fussy cutting. Some more little stamping with that little holly. I loved it. I loved that one this year. More bullet journal paper, my favorite. More of the man with the bag. And here's a little, this is from one of those reprints of Sears 1908 catalog. And then this is fussy cut from that wrapping paper, and on the other side there's just a little piece of lace glued on. Another Santa, a slightly more modern Santa. He's got blue pants in this picture. I liked that he had a drum because my fella is a drummer. And then it's very tiny. You probably can't read it from there, but it says, "There are gifts you cannot see," which is so true. So making use of my Tim Holtz things there. This is from a vintage little caroling book. And then some more stamping of a wreath. I just love using papers of different sizes to give variety as you're turning pages. So really big and then really little. It's just fun. And I made some, I was even using my stickers. I was determined to do a little bit of everything in this book. And I even have used stickers in several places in this journal. And another vintage Christmas card. And some more ledger paper. I'm sure the elves in the accounting department didn't mind parting with that. Some more use of stickers to make a tab for when you flip that out. And the other side of the little Christmas Carol book. And then here's another Father Christmas type Santa. And a little bit of stenciling in behind him. Here's another tab. I thought that piece of lace looked like a snowflake to me. So, and it's on Christmas fabric. And then I've put an eyelet with a bulb pin. And then it's got a moon and a star because, of course, he does it all in one night. This is I punched several sizes of this die to figure out what size I needed for the cover, and I didn't want to put them to waste, so that's one of the extras that was left over, and I think that looks pretty. And it's a page out of a guest book, but it's the gift page, so it says gifts here, and I thought that was perfect for most likely this book was for. And some more just raggedy pieces of Christmassy fabric and making use of blue again. And there's even a blue Santa there, a blue Father Christmas, which made me very happy. Another little tip out there for you to have fun with. This little tuck spot, I just put some stuff in there. A little bit of lace, and I actually sewed it on, and then it says Merry Christmas to you. This is from, I believe, the Tim Holtz collection. And then some fussy cutting from, I believe, out of a book, and some stenciling in behind using gold ink. I like the way that turned out with the little bird. The little bird's got a little blue head, so he had to go on the blue paper. And again, I like the way this waterfall look of paper, the layering of it looks. And the map of the world, again, there's a lot of maps. A little chickadee in winter looking for berries. That's usually what they're surviving on in the winter time. At least here where I live in Canada, there's no bugs in the winter. They're all either asleep or gone, and they survive on mostly berries. Here's a little tag that I made from some fabric that I received in Happy Mail. But I remember the Tea Eaton Company in Toronto. Huge. They put on the Santa Claus Parade every year, right down Yonge Street, right past the store. And after the parade was over, we'd go in to see Santa and tell him what we hoped for Christmas, and we could drop off our letter as well. So I just put some paper on the back and sewed the fabric. It's actually fabric. So I just put that there. You can put that wherever you like. This is from a book I have for if you were going to print off a menu, you're holding a dinner party or something and you wanted to be able to put a menu at each person's spot. But I thought that's quite appropriate for all the snacks Santa would be eating on his travels. And another little tab, but it's up here at the top so that there's a bit of lace sticking out the top, and I've ruffled it, and a little poinsettia. And then this is from a work basket. So 1954 work basket magazine. This is also from that Antique Santa Games book. And I've made it into a tuck spot with a little tab here with some lace that I made look older. It was actually white when we got started. And then this has some room for journaling, and of course, what else? Another map of the world, pocket size, in case he needs it. Again, from the Santa Games book. And then this is from a really old book, but I didn't write the year on it. It most likely could be because I didn't know what year it was. It was from one of those old Elsie books. And but I like that it said gift books for girls. So I just tucked that in there. And then some more of that blue Christmas fabric on the blue paper, and I sewed it on. Here's another vintage Christmas card with room for journaling on the back. And this is, of course, Jiffy Gifts. My mother would have been making all these things for our church bazaar when I was growing up. And this was the cover from the book. I just thought it was so colorful, and I immediately thought of the Christmas church bazaar as soon as I saw it. My mother would have been able to make all of these things without even looking. She could watch her TV show and her hands and needles would be clicking away while she watched TV. And we all just got used to the rhythm of listening to the clicks of her, either her knitting needles or else her crochet needle going. And I glued it closed so it's a pocket. I can't leave it empty. So I had been using this card the whole time that I was working on the list. This is even from last year. So I thought it's been with the book this long, it needs to go with the book. So I've put it in this pocket for now. But all these things come off, and you can use that card whatever way you like. And it's got a few fussy cuts from the wrapping paper that I've been in love with. Another tuck spot with a Father Christmas and a bit of ruffled sari silk there. It's a long journal, but when you got 350 pages, it takes a long time to get through it. A little fussy cut bell there, and another little paper doll from Tim Holtz, and some Christmas fabric. There's, I believe those are holly berries, white holly berries on that one. And then we're here at the 13th signature. So there's 13 in it, and a little, it's sort of like a little Holly Hobby-ish Christmas card, so it's a little bit newer. And because, of course, Santa to this day is still very, very busy. And another tab with some Christmas fabric and a little, tiny little jingle bell on it. You can hear it going there. And this is from another address book and telephone numbers back from before we had smartphones. And it's got common ivy on it. So ivy, of course, was very popular for decorating. And, of course, there's that old English carol, the holly and the ivy, that one. So I thought of that when I put it in. And another little tuck spot from that the wrapping paper. I got lots of use out of it, and I'm still not tired of it. You're still going to be seeing it in other journals this year that I make. Another Father Christmas. This time he's on a bicycle with a little fabric tab sticking out, kind of raggedy looking. And then it's also a tuck spot. This is one of the few scans that I use, but it's my own bookmark that I have. That I took a scan of that was in my great-grandmother's Bible. So, and I have the real one, so I won't part with it. but I took a scan of it to share it with others. A little bit of my great-grandmother. And, ah yes, another map. Made to look old. Had some fun aging it, mucking it up. Polar projection map of the world. So I thought that was kind of fun. The Arctic Ocean. And that's on a rusty paper clip too, with a little ribbon up here. And then here's the other side of that Christmas card. This side was so white, I wasn't enjoying it against these creamy colors, so I really changed it, because you can see how white it was on this side of it. And I used some Kathy Holden paper to make a pocket, and then I fussy cut some more of that paper and put it over here so that it's all nice and coordinated. And then instead of a Two Nanas bookmark for this special book, I made a little Catherine card to go into it and used some Tim Holtz things, and with a little poinsettia up there. And if you want to, you can hang it on your tree. And there's the Santa most of us recognize, the one that drinking the Coca-Cola. Hold on, I got some 3-in-1 glue there. There we go. A spider web of 3-in-1. And he's enjoying a nice ice cold Coca-Cola. And then it's the dictionary where it says Christmas, and a little bit of Handel's Messiah, and just a little bit of fun. One moment. Scammers. Anyhow, so little Catherine card going in with the list. And then on the back is, there he is. He's off to the next house, the man of the hour. And a pocket there. It's a good sized pocket. Will hold lots of things. And I had some fun with some more Tim Holtz things and a little bit of the the wrapping paper that I had fun with. If you're wondering what I'm talking about with the wrapping paper, in case you're one of the people that only come over for flip-throughs, I have sheets and sheets of this wrapping paper that my daughter saved for me, and I just love it, and I just fussy cut and have fun with it. And that's what I mean when I say I fussy cut from the wrapping paper. So that's the list, and I apologize for the length of it, but like I said, when you have 350 pages to get through on a big doozy book like this, it can take a little while. But I'm awfully glad you joined me. If you're interested, this journal will be available in my Etsy shop. The link will be listed below, and it will be listed in my Etsy shop later today at approximately 5:30. Sometimes Etsy takes a little while for it to show up. I definitely hit list at 5:30. Sometimes Etsy, like I said, is slow. If you're interested and you're looking for it, don't forget to refresh your page, because Etsy does not automatically refresh their pages. And if you're saying, where is it, you have to refresh your page yourself, because Etsy doesn't refresh the page. So that's just a little hint for you in case you happen to be interested in this book. I just thought I'd remind you of that aspect of how Etsy works. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the list. And if you're the kind of person that has a lot to write about your Christmases, then this very well might be the book for you. And we'll get together soon, because I have a whole bunch more Christmas books, not this big, that I plan on working on this year. Take care. Bye.